All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. From Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, race 9 of the season. Jason Shermott and Mark Bruning on the front row. Mike Zakar, Barry French on the second row. Rod Potgieter and Kevin Bruner now on the third row. C.R. Reed, Ronald Maynard on the fourth row. Ronald has recovered from going to the Shadow Realm. Daryl Klotz and Manuel de Souza round out your top 10. Jeff Oakes starting in 11th and Randy Ayers in 12th. Don Anderson starting 13th. Danny Passmore in 14th. Andrew Forrester in 15th. James Little in 16th. Kevin Hayes starting in 17th. Warren Moore in 18th. Bill Hornback in 19th. And Joe Camilleri in 20th. Jim Wardlow starting in 21st. Mike Burgess 22nd. Michael Lamance 23rd. And Ross Luckhurst rounding out the 24-car field here in Canada this morning. All the drivers getting on the grid, getting ready to go. This is race number 9 of the season, and at the moment, Jason Shermott, who is on the pole once again today, leads the points. He has 6 starts this season, 5 wins, top 10s in every race, and almost a 30-point lead coming into today. However, the battle for second still extremely tight, with Mike Zakar, Mark Bruning just 2 points apart. All the drivers roll off the grid, take to the track, led around by the iRacing Porsche pace car. Looks like Ronald Maynard has chosen to go and start from the pits. Bill Hornback, Ross Luckhurst did not take to the grid. Bill Hornback has now gone to pit road, so he'll be starting from pit road along with Ronald Maynard. This track does have a lot of elevation changes, especially the first half of the track till you get down to the far end. Some high-speed corners definitely make things exciting around here as well. And the 2 turns at the far end of the track definitely cause some excitement. Looks like 21 cars are starting out here on the grid with 2 drivers starting from pit road. No word on Ross Luckhurst yet. Quick look at the track. Current track temperature 98 degrees. 2.43 miles around this track. And here we go. Green flag is in the air. They are away at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Mark Bruning quickly shoots into the lead, getting past Jason Shermott. Mike Zakar holding on to third. Hornback and Ronald Maynard are off pit road and underway. Randy Ayers starting to make some moves up through the field here as well. Joe Camilleri on the attack, already up 4 spots as well. Jim Wardlow has had a problem back behind. We'll take a look at Wardlow here in a moment, but Jason Shermott has reclaimed the lead. Mark Bruning, though, still right with them. Those two BMWs practically nose to tail here. Out of the final turn, it looks like Shermott's will lead the first lap. A little bit sketchy coming out of that final turn as he hit the rumble strips hard. Let's see what happened to Wardlow on lap 1. There's Jim and Taz coming down the hill into the left-hander. And it looks like just a big stack up back up ahead. Then he gets loose back on the power and hits the wall. Mark Bruning in second, Mike Zakar in third, Rod Potgieter now up to fourth, Barry French currently in fifth, Kevin Bruner in sixth, C.R. Reed seventh, Manuel De Souza up to eighth now, Daryl Klotz in ninth, and Randy Ayers up to 10th. But we've got some drivers that did not qualify well already on the attack. Joe Camilleri up 5 spots into 15th. Mike Burgess up 5 spots into 17th. Michael Lemansk up 3 spots now into 20th. Very quick laps around here this morning. Jason Shermott just set the fastest, a 1:23.79. C.R. Reed starting to make some moves forward in the Aston, now up into 6th, having taken it from Kevin Bruner. A lot of passing opportunities on this track as you see Danny Passmore hard attack into the far part of the track. And a lot of drivers appear to be going off track just a little bit throughout. Let's take a look at a few. There's Ronald Maynard, looks like coming down into turn number 1. Just a bit wide there. Michael Lemansk in the BMW coming down the hill through that first section, just goes wide. And Andrew Forrester, Kevin Hayes battling it out. And several cars just overshoot, quickly recover, but losing a lot of ground. Jason Shermott's already starting to open up a lead. Now just over a second ahead of Mark Bruning. Mark Bruning and Mike Zakar currently running second and third. Mike Zakar second in points. Mark Bruning third in points, just 2 points apart. These two have been back and forth in the points all season long. And a big battle going on from about, 16th on back. 15th. Warren Moore, Joe Camilleri, Ronald Maynard, Mike Burgess, all going at it here. Warren Moore and Joe Camilleri side by side. Porsche versus McLaren through the final turn. McLaren has the inside line. And now they're going to go 3 wide on the front stretch. Ronald Maynard shoots the gap down on the inside, picks up several spots. Now back up into 15th after losing ground early on. James Little up 2 spots down to 14th. Danny Passmore in 13th, closing in on Don Anderson in 12th. And a little bit of a battle ahead as Randy Ayers goes on the attack on Jeff Oaks, excuse me. Manuel de Souza just ahead in 9th, Oaks in 10th, Randy Ayers in 11th. Randy Ayers has a hello on the front of his card. Now you have to wonder, let's see if we can ride along with Don Anderson. I do believe we have his nose cam installed today. If he can get close, we'll see if it's got a goodbye on the back of the car. May not be able to get close enough to see it. Ayers is definitely on the attack here in the early going. Mike Burgess has also been attacking since the drop of the green. He is up 4 spots now into 18th, closing in on Joe Camilleri. Joe was up in 15th for a bit, but that battle with Warren Moore and James Little has set him back. A lot of off tracks here in the early going, and remember these guys do have an incident point penalty. At 10 points they will have to do a drive-through penalty, and at 20 they get the DQ. Mark Bruning way wide through the final turn as he tries to find some momentum. Mike Zakar in 3rd. Trying to close back in. Rod Potgieter in 4th. Barry French in 5th. C.R. Reed now up in 6th. Is closing the gap on Barry. Just half a second behind. Kevin Bruner currently running in 7th. Darrell Klotz now up to 8th. De Souza in 9th. But Jeff Oaks is right there. Randy Ayers right behind Oaks. Ronald Maynard in 14th. Lost some ground in the early going. He started in 8th. During a battle, went off track. Recovered, but lost several positions. Now starting to fight his way back. He is in 14th. Joe Camilleri now battling with Mike Burgess. Burgess on the attack at the far end of the track. Burgess to the inside. And is going to take that position. Michael Lemansk also closing in up 3 spots into 20th. In that BMW continues to close the gap, and Manuel de Souza, Jeff Oaks have had a problem. A big problem it looks like. Both of them off track losing ground. Let's see what happened. Oh, look like there may have been some contact there. See if we can get a better view from the blimp here. Definitely some contact at the apex. Both of them get sideways. I believe that is Ayers that just slips through the middle. That did move Ayers up into 9th. Danny Passmore in 10th. Don Anderson in 11th. Ronald Maynard now in 12th. James Little up to 13th. DeSouza back in 14th. Warren Moore now up to 15th. Mike Burgess is really attacking this morning. He is up 6 spots into 16th. Now on the attack on Warren Moore. Joe Camilleri still lurking right behind, and here comes Jeff Oakes in that Mercedes. That got close. Whoa, Camilleri has a problem. Got a little too much of the rumble strips. Jeff Oakes managing to squeeze through. Don Anderson now up into 11th, trying to close the gap on Danny Passmore in 10th. Randy Ayers in 9th, trying to close in on Darrell Klotz. Out front, Jason Shermott still has a lead by about 1.7 seconds. But it looks like Mark Bruning is starting to close the gap. Mike Zakar about 1.7, 1.8 seconds back. Rod Potgieter another 1.7 back. Barry French right with him, as is C.R. Reed. Kevin Bruder back in 7th, about 4 seconds off. Ronald Maynard continues to attack in 12th place, now closing in on 11th place. Don Anderson, Manuel de Souza trying to close back in as well. James Little sitting at 14th. Jeff Oakes trying to recover from that earlier incident in 15th, as Warren Moore and Mike Burgess right there on his bumper. Michael Lemansk also right there. Burgess and Lemansk have been moving forward since the drop of the green. Burgess now down to the inside on Warren Moore. Andrew Forrester, one of those drivers that went off early on in the race, now back in 21st. Right on the bumper of Joe Camilleri. Camilleri had quite an attack early on. Made his way up to about 15th. Is now back into 20th. Kevin Hayes currently running in 19th, right behind Lemansk. Jim Wardlow and Taz, after their early incident, all the way back in 23rd. Mark Bruning continues to reel in Jason Shermott. Now just 1.6 seconds back. Shermott, as we mentioned, has run 6 races this season, has won 5 of those 6, was on his way to the win in the race at Summit Point until getting tangled up with a lap car. But Mark Bruning trying to upset that winning streak. Mike Zakar back in third, took over second in points from Mark Bruning last week. Only 2 points separates them at the moment. Danny Passmore starting to make his way forward. He has made his way up into 10th after starting in 14th. And really surprising how much the field is spread out in the first 10 minutes here. Still quite a bit of battling going on back behind. This long chain of drivers from 16th place, Mike Burgess on back. Warren Moore 17th, Michael Lemansk in 18th, Kevin Hayes in 19th, Joe Camilleri in 20th, Andrew Forrester in 21st. Bill Hornback back in 22nd, Jim Wardlow back in 23rd. Camilleri at the moment has a really good view. So once he gets up here closer to the start-finish line, we'll dial up his in-car camera and take a ride with Joe. Coming into that final section of turns. These are a little bit tricky and can unsettle the car. Let's hop on board as he comes through that final turn onto the front straightaway. Across the start-finish line, down the hill toward turn 1, a sweeping right-hander. You got to carry a lot of speed, but it is very easy to overdo it and go out into the grass. Into turn 2, left hand downhill, long left-hander. You got to balance speed and handling. Start back up the hill into the right-hand turn. Bumpy through some of these turns as you see patches in the track. Back down the hill, the far end of the track as James Little is off and Camilleri tries to attack. Kevin Hayes goes wide. Out of the far end of the track and down the fast semi-straight. Uphill most of this straightaway. And then hard to the brakes for the right-hander. Left-hand turn and setting up for that final right-hand turn onto the front straightaway. Once again across the start-finish line. Camilleri did that lap in a 127.6. And we saw just ahead of him several incidents. Let's take a look, starting with James Little. There's James Little coming down the hill toward that far end of the track. Oh, almost gets into the car ahead. Has to stab the brakes, and it sends the car into the inside. Kevin Hayes also had a problem as Joe started to attack. Joe got down to the inside. Hayes just shoots it too wide. Quickly back out on track. Manuel De Souza in that incident earlier was running up in the top 10, now back in 14th, trying to close back in on Jeff Oakes. That Mercedes does have a bit of a power advantage, and it looks like Oaks might be having a connection problem. Jason Shermont has started extending his lead. Now 2.6 seconds over Mark Bruning. Mike Zakar running in third. Rod Potgieter in fourth. Barry French currently in fifth. C.R. Reed having a good run here today in sixth, right on the bumper of Barry French, fourth, fifth, and sixth, all right there together. We saw that group spread out a little bit earlier on, but now starting to pull back together. Kevin Bruner safely in seventh right now. He is 5 seconds behind CR and 8 seconds ahead of Klotz, but at the moment, Klotz is closing in. Randy Ayers currently in 9th. Ronald Maynard in 10th. Danny Passmore right there with Maynard in 11th. Don Anderson in 12th now has Jeff Oaks to contend with. Manuel De Souza in 14th. Still trying to regain some ground here. Mike Burgess, we talked about earlier, has been on the attack since the drop of the green flag. Burgess now up 7 spots into 15th. Lemansk was following him through. Lemansk up 7 spots into 16th. As we mentioned, seeing a lot of drivers overshoot. Is so easy to go off track here. And it looks like Jim Wardlow has gone off track and has suddenly towed to pit road. Let's take a look and see what happened with Wardlow. Jim and Taz trying to make up some ground since, just misses his braking point. Overshoots, drifts through the grass. And tows it into pit road. Kevin Bruner slipped off track a moment ago. It has allowed Darrell Klotz to gain about 3/4 of a second. Klotz was running him down, was about 8 seconds back. Continues to make up ground here. Remember, these drivers will need to make a pit stop for fuel. Looks like James Little has made his. Pitted just about 3 laps ago. Hopefully that is enough to make it to the end. Hey, Kevin! How you been, man? Ronald Maynard making his way back toward the front. Currently back up in 10th. Trying to run down Randy Ayers in 9th. Danny Passmore also up 3 spots here in the early going into 11th. Saw that incident earlier with Jeff Oakes, who's now back in 12th. Don Anderson back in 13th, not gaining any ground at the moment. Oakes had that incident with DeSouza. DeSouza now trying to close back in on Don Anderson. Joe Camilleri is also back on the attack. Joe started in 20th, made his way to 15th, drifted all the way back to 20th, and is now back up to 17th. Don Anderson is in for his fuel stop. Now the question is, will we see tire changes this morning? Anderson hits his pit stall. Will the car go up on the jacks? No, it does not. So it'll be fuel-only stops for most of the field today. Hey, welcome back, Sketch. Hey, Tina, Ryan ended up out early. The leader is on pit road. Jason Shermont's in for his stop. Mark Bruning goes to the lead. We saw Mark stretch fuel at Summit Point. He was able to stretch his fuel. Shermont's got tangled up, and that gave Bruning the win. Can he do it again here this morning? Kevin Bruner now on pit road. Ronald Maynard also on pit road. Bruner is up for tires. The first tire change we have seen all morning long. Mike Zakar now in second, almost 5 seconds back. Rod Potgieter in third, closing in. He's bringing Barry French, C.R. Reed with him. Randy Ayers now in 7th. Danny Passmore in 8th. Jason Shermont's currently the highest running car that has completed pit stops as he goes by Danny Passmore. Yeah, Tina, that second race got a little bumpy for a lot of drivers. Several drivers have completed pit stops already. However, the vast majority of the field has not pitted. Jason Shermont's the points leader, has completed his pit stop and is currently running in 8th. Mark Bruning looking to stretch fuel, have a short stop, maybe leapfrog Shermont's here this morning. So far, Shermont's has dominated this season with 5 wins in 6 races. Mark Bruning with 1 win. Ronald Maynard with 2 wins over the course of the 8 weeks of the season so far. You got to give it to Shermont's. He has dominated, only competing in 6 races, winning 5 of them so far, to take the points lead and a 25-point lead at the moment. Darrell Klotz is now in on pit road. Let's see if the Mercedes gets tires. Nope, no tires on either Mercedes. Kevin Hayes was the other Mercedes on pit road. And Jason Shermott's in 7th place, just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:23.17. Last time by, Mark Bruning was running a 1:24.03. He is gonna have to pick up the pace to have enough of a gap and leapfrog off pit road to hold on to the lead. Mike Zakar on pit road. He is second in points. He needs some good luck and a fast stop here today. Don't forget, folks, you can see a lot of these same names Thursday night, 7 Eastern, with the Home Motorsports Xfinity Series. That was a wild race Thursday night at the New Atlanta, which, as we discovered, does not have lights. Danny Passmore is in. Manuel de Souza is also in now. Mark Bruning is closing in on, I believe, Ronald Maynard. Yep, Maynard in 18th. And here we go. Mark Bruning is on pit road. Rod Potgieter coming in. Barry French really sending into pit road. C.R. Reed is staying out. He will lead a lap here. C.R. Reed came into the morning 6th in points. 13 points behind Maynard. Could be a very good points day for CR. Jason Shermott is coming by the pit road, moving up into 30. He has gotten back past Mark Bruning. Mike Burgess has had a problem. Oh, we've got Warren Moore off track. Mike Burgess coming down the hill. Just goes a bit wide into the gravel and it spins him back into the infield. Manages to avoid the wall and quickly recovers. Randy Ayers currently scored in second. Jason Shermott's right on his bumper. C.R. Reed is now on pit road. Mike Burgess on pit road is taking tires after going through the gravel. No tires for C.R. Reed. Randy Ayers is in for his stop. Shermott is coming by. He has already completed his stop and looks like he is going to move into the lead. Kevin Hayes has had a problem and has towed to pit road. There's Kevin in the Mercedes. Just overshoots that turn and hits the tire barrier. Can't get it wound up before the second tire barrier. Hey, Cody, how are you, buddy? Jeff Oakes is in for his stop. On his way back off of pit road. The leader now has a 6.2 second lead over second place Mark Bruning. C.R. Reed in third, Mike Zakar in fourth, Rod Potgieter in fifth. There is that big gap, 6 1/4 seconds between Jason Shermott's in the lead and Mark Bruning in second. C.R. Reed about 7 seconds back in third. Zakar 1.1 seconds back in fourth. Rod Potgieter another second back in fifth. Barry French right there in sixth. A little further back, Darrell Klotz in seventh, about 20 seconds back at the moment. As Randy Ayers 2.5 seconds back. Kevin Bruner, the first driver to take 4 tires on pit road, is about 4.6 back, but gaining ground. Jeff Oakes currently running in 10th. Danny Passmore in 11th. Ronald Maynard in 12th. Manuel de Souza now back to 13th. Don Anderson 14th. Michael LeMans up 8 spots now into 15th. Andrew Forrester in 16th, Joe Camilleri in 17th, Warren Moore 18th, Mike Burgess in 19th, Bill Hornback in 20th. Notice several more drivers have had off tracks. Some of these drivers will be getting close to that 10-point drive-through penalty. Michael LeMans up 8 spots, still just went a lap down to Jason Shermont. Mark Bruning in second place is gaining ground. Hey, thank you for the stars, Cody. Mark Bruning now just 5 1/4 seconds back from the leader and closing in. C.R. Reed currently running in third, also closing in on the top 2 at the moment. Last time by, C.R. Reed was the fastest driver on track. C.R. Reed just set the fastest lap of the morning, a 1:23.11. Jason Shermott knows they are closing in from behind. He has to navigate lap traffic here. He knows his lead is shrinking, but 15.5 minutes left. The gap still 4.6 seconds. Does Mark Bruning have the time and the speed to close the gap? And it may come down to navigating lap traffic, as Mark Bruning has just caught a couple of cars, including Michael LeMans, but they are moving over to let Bruning by. C.R. Reed, meanwhile, set the fastest lap yet again. C.R. started back in 7th, has made his way up to 3rd, and is really attacking this track. In fact, at the moment appears, whoa, is a close call for Potgieter battling with the car. Mike Zakar sitting in fourth, Rod Potgieter in fifth in that McLaren. Right in the slipstream, lap traffic coming into play here. Potgieter making the move down to the inside. They have contact. And Potgieter is going to come through clean. Take a look at this pass from the blimp. Potgieter gets down to the inside. Drives it deep in. Just a little door banging. Great job by both drivers holding on to it. Potgieter to fourth. Mike Zakar, though, still staying right on Rod's bumper. Meanwhile, C.R. Reed continuing to try and close the gap on Mark Bruning. Bruning now less than 5 seconds behind the leader, Jason Shermont. Question being, can Mark catch him? And if he gets there, will he have anything left to make a move? And Cody, word has it, you have a video to send me. Mike Zakar currently sitting in fifth, has Barry French in sixth, right behind. Daryl Klotz currently in seventh, has Randy Ayers in eighth closing in. Kevin Bruner still holds on to ninth. Jeff Oakes back in 10th. Michael LeMans currently in 15th, has Andrew Forrester closing in at 16th. Joe Camilleri in 17th, holding that position now after a lot of back and forth. Warren Moore in 18th, Mike Burgess in 19th, and Bill Hornback currently in 20th. Jason Shermont has started to pick up the pace. His lead is now 5.5 seconds over Mark Bruning. Hey, thank you, Cody. Rod Potgieter in fourth is starting to close the gap on C.R. Reed at the moment. Mike Zakar back in fifth, was unable to hold off Rod Potgieter, and now is going to have to deal with Barry French as Bill Hornback has had a problem. Bill in the Interstate Batteries Porsche just gets loose. Slides back across the track. Fortunately, no contact with anybody else. Gets it back off track in the grass, pointed the right way, going again. Jason Shermott's lead is now 7 seconds over Mark Bruning. Mark was on a hard charge early on in this one. Looked like he had something for the leader, but here we are. Shermott's on his way to another win. 8.5 minutes left, though. Anything could still happen here, but Shermott's has just been fast and consistent all season long. Mike Burgess is on pit road for a drive-through. Looks like Mike Burgess was the first driver to complete a drive-through penalty. Jason Shermott's has just been attacking non-stop. Every race has just been almost unbeatable. Mark Bruning currently in second. C.R. Reed now in third. Rod Potgieter in fourth, Mike Zakar in fifth. That will flip-flop second place back to Mark Bruning as they run now. Barry French still trying to find a way around Mike Zakar. Michael LeMans currently in 15th, the biggest mover of the race so far, up 8 spots. Trying to reel in 14th place, Don Anderson. Don about 3.8 seconds ahead. But as we saw a moment ago, Mike Burgess had that drive-through penalty. How many of these other drivers are on the cusp of getting a drive-through here this morning? Could we see more drive-through penalties affecting the end of this race? With just over 5.5 minutes to go, anything is possible. Jason Shermott's on a tear all season long. Rod Potgieter has been pulling away from Mike Zakar in fifth. Barry French right on his bumper in sixth as Jeff Oakes has just taken ninth from Kevin Bruner. Danny Passmore in 11th, about 12 seconds back. Ronald Maynard in 12th. Manuel de Souza in 13th. Don Anderson way back there in 14th, and Michael LeMans closing in on Anderson quickly. That gap now down to 1.7. Andrew Forrester right there on LeMansk's bumper. Joe Camilleri in 17th, started 20th, went to 15th, went back to 20th, has held on to 17th for a while. Warren Moore currently in 18th, Mike Burgess 19th, Bill Hornback in 20th. Kevin Hayes, James Little, and Jim Wardlow out early. Ross Luckhurst did not take to the grid this morning. Down to 20 drivers in the field, and Jason Shermott has been on such a tear that only 12 drivers remain on the lead lap. Mark Bruning in second did mount a valiant effort trying to reel in the leader, but has now dropped back to 8 seconds. C.R. Reed now 9.5 seconds back in third. Rod Potgieter in fourth, though, still attacking. Only 2.8 seconds back as Barry French has finally got a run. On Zakar, they end up 3 wide, some contact. Barry French now to 5th after contact with Zakar. Seems like everybody who's passed the car this morning has bumped him to do it. Let's watch this battle from the blimp here. Down the straightaway, you see French has the inside, the lap car coming into play. Into the turns, the car has to creep in. And when French gets back on the gas, just slides out, bumps the car, but finally clears. Hey, John. The General, huh? I will have to remember that one. Jason Shermott's now way out front, 7.5 seconds. Mark Bruning has gained a little time in the last lap or so, but it doesn't look like it will be enough. Ronald Maynard has gone off track and gone to pit road. Looking to see if we're going to have any more drive-through penalties here. A few drivers are on the cusp of it, but so far only Mike Burgess has had to. Checkered flag will fly for his 6th win of the season. Jason Shermott wins at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Mark Bruning, a valiant second place finish. And C.R. Reed, what a fight to come home in third. Rod Potgieter in fourth, Barry French in fifth. Biggest mover of the morning, Michael LeMans, up 9 spots into 14th. We'll see if we can get a word with some of our drivers here in just a moment. That will extend Jason Shermott's lead. And Jason, congratulations. Win number 6 of the season.
Yeah, that was a fun race, Doug. Do you got me?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Yeah, I knew Marcellus was probably going to be a little aggressive on the start, so even though I was prepared for it, he still caught me off guard and managed to sneak by me for a little bit. But fortunately, the track temperatures were way cooler than what I experienced during practice and even in qualifying. So it just must have fit my driving style pretty well, and we were able to come away with a win.
It was interesting. After the pit stops, about midway through, Mark really started reeling you in there for a while and had closed to within about 4.5 seconds, and then it looked like you just cranked it up another notch.
Yeah, I wanted to be mindful of not abusing the tires too much. I had a really clean run up to that point, and slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So the tires felt pretty good, and I had a really clean race up to that point with a 0x. So I really tried to just make sure I hit every apex and finished with no incident points and enough of a lead where I didn't have to really risk the car or spinning out toward the stretch.
Well, with the car finishing back in 6, your points lead is really going to extend here this morning, man. A dominating season, bud. Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thanks again, Doug. We got Daytona and Spa coming up, so those are tough tracks, and anything can happen there. So we'll see what happens.
All right, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Doug.
Jason Shermott's pulling off the win. Doesn't look like we're going to get our other 2 drivers, so thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. We will be back at 7:30 Eastern as the BRR Cup Series playoffs begin tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Have a great night, everybody.